This pilot has a terrifying Cascade while flying in New Zealand. It seems so confusing, but today I'm going to break it down for you so you understand every single step of what happens here. Are you ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm paragliding!
See ya. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ari in the Air. Welcome back to the channel. Stoked you're here. I teach high-level paragliding, and I'm the founder of the Paragliding Men's Group, where 50 men from 15 countries have dropped their fears of other people's opinions and really stepped into an authentic leadership of their own lives and relationships. So if you're ready to stop trying to make everyone happy all the time and really start living your life like it is for you, then use the link in the description below. There's only a few spots left and the price goes up after this cohort. Let's get right into today's video. As always, I'm going to watch it one time through and then I'll break it down. Okay, right turn. He's thermaling. He's over snow. It's an insanely spectacular, beautiful place. He's turning right. Ooh, a little turbulence. Oh, a little collapse. Oh, 360. Oh, 540. Backslide. More collapses. Big shoot. Falls into a line twist. Now the glider is spiraling. Line twisted. And he untwists and manages to control the spiral. He's flying like an Explorer 2 and an Aero P. So let's go back to the beginning here and let me help you understand what exactly happens here and why. Okay, so New Zealand is known for bumpy air, to say the very least. And I think that it's likely that he had flown through some bumpy air to be in this position in the first place. But at any rate, what happens here is I think he flies into a real strong bit of climb and some kind of turbulent air that stands his glider up overhead right here. And then you see that he, goes really fast. Everything happens really fast in this video. So let's watch very closely and I'll do my best at narrating. So as you see here, the glider is about to yaw to the right. Yaw, you see that? And now he's got a bunch of brake pulled and the lines are slacked over here. So the glider was flying, he was turning right, and then the glider yaws really hard to the right, and then there's slack on the left lines. Yes. So he was a day late and $1 short with the left brake input to stop the yaw, but his reaction of pulling lots of brake when there's no brake line tension is correct. But if we key forward here, we see that the tail now flops under, okay? In this configuration, you can already let your hand up because you know that that is going to clear itself out when the glider flies. Again, you don't need additional, you don't need to hold the left brake down. And what happens next, he creates for a long time, which is, a pretty common thing when people send me their videos looking for more insight as to what happened. So in general, what was it with the air there? Well, you're flying in cross-country conditions. Good cross-country conditions can do all kinds of things to your glider. It can yaw it, it can pitch it, it can collapse it. So just knowing those cards are in the deck when you launch on a good day flying in the mountains with cumulus cloud development like this. So this first bit here of collapse, and he's got so much left brake pulled, and now he's got a left, like the tail is like the trailing edge is kind of like collapsing in a weird way. Watch very closely here, his left hand, his left brake. So what you'll see is that as the wingtip opens back up right here, where is his hand? His hand is perfectly at tail slide. And you know that because what happens next is a perfect acceleration into tail slide. And he keeps his left hand perfectly tail sliding until he adds a little too much brake at 360. Okay, so look, just to show it to you again, this left loss of brake pressure started with a yaw, right? So the glider yaws to the right, and he adds a bunch of left brake to try to keep the glider flying. At this point, he literally could just go hands up on both hands and everything would have worked out. But he keeps too much left brake. He does not let up fast enough. And so when the glider opens up like this, then it immediately shoots him into a near perfect helicopter. Okay, so let me break this down why the right side collapses then right after this. So here, right here, the glider is actually over his head, but then it pitches forward as the left glider is kind of like stalled or not flying, and the right side starts to shoot. That means that the glider is now pitched in front of him when the wingtip inflates. So now, right here in this frame, the sun is about to be covered up by the glider, and it's open span-wise, and in this moment, he goes into a perfect helicopter entry, but the glider is not over his head. If it was overhead, it would literally just be a perfect helicopter and span-wise would be open and clean. But since it's way out in front of him, when it starts to spin, it just crumples that low side because it has nothing, it has no line tension. Okay, so then he goes around 360 with a left wing perfectly backflying. Perfect tail slide until he pulls too much brake and the trailing edge crumples under. Okay. And now look at both of his hands. He's got a ton of brake pulled here. Okay. So now the glider is totally stalled. Now it's starting to backfly, right? Just keying through these frames here. Now he's in some kind of deep stall. Now it's coming behind him, right? He's keeping this thing stalled. The right wingtip is kind of bunched into itself. He might be staring at that. He might be trying to clear that. It's no time to try to clear that. But at any rate, it clears itself. He's in backfly. And now his hand on the right, you can see it's up, which makes the glider shoot. Boom. And now it is passing the horizon. And where are his hands? Up. So for the first time in the video, his hands are up. And it's the last position that you want hands up in, which is the glider way passing the horizon. And what happens there, he goes into free fall here, which is a really tough position to be in. He gets really lucky here as you see the camera passes the lines. Look at this. Look at this frame right here. You see the lines around his head. The lines could easily go under his helmet, around his camera. This is why I don't recommend cameras on your head. And he's very lucky that the lines clear here. He's also very lucky that the glider opens up because you see right here, it almost like passes through itself, which would have been a total reserve deployment situation, but it doesn't. And the glider opens itself back up and he's looking at a perfect 360 line twist right here with the glider starting to auto rotate, spiral to the right. Scary situation. Luckily, the glider is fully flying, even though it's now trying to kill him, but it's providing enough riser tension that it actually unspins him pretty aggressively. And by this frame right here, he's already looking at a familiar configuration of looking at a glider that's flying. Even though it's spiraling, he can manage this and he knows how to bleed this energy out. Okay. So this video is another example of overhandling. Okay. The inception of the event was kind of a non-event. And honestly, if he would have done nothing, he probably would have taken like a 40% collapse and it would have just reopened. But instead, he really got into overhandling, did a perfect helicopter, and then a stall, and then a restall, and keeps it stalled, and then a huge shoot where he doesn't catch it, line twist. Oh my God, oh my God. So less is more, unless you need more, then it's less. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, this is just classic overhandling here. So like we've talked about on a lot of these videos, releasing your brake is as important as pulling it because it can cause bigger problems. Train your stalls, train your spins, train your backfly, train helis. If you can do helis on your XC glider, then man, your chance of accidentally doing a heli goes way down. So hope this is useful. If you want support and you want to join forces this year with the Paragliding Men's Group and me, then use the link in the description below. We'll see you in the next episode.